killer.
On Nicole, are we expecting very many people to dial in from San Jose, Houston,
Chicago,
New
for
York?
sure. It's a big country, and they're welcome to call in.
Right.
All right, well, it seems like everyone may have dialed in that is Zooming to this meeting. I love the beginning of it. It says right here, notice of meeting of the Electric Board of Commissioners. I think that's perfect. That's one of those spell checks that might actually have gotten the right word because we're electric. I believe that's electronic, but...
I thought it was electric.
or yeah, it could be. Okay. Anyhow, welcome to Washington County for this commission meeting. I'm chairing this evening for Victor Iverson, who is our normal chair, who is in Salt Lake and
he's also
Zooming to us via his connection there. We have several announcements first, and let me just start with this one. Governor Herbert has issued his executive order, a state of emergency due to the novel coronavirus of 2019. And that was on March 6th, and all gatherings were limited to 10 people or less. We thank you for participating via Zoom. Whoever you are, we'll tell you how to do that in a minute, but you can also visit this streaming live via Facebook from Washington County's Utah's Facebook page. The Deputy County Attorney and others that have been asked to participate in today's meeting may be off-site and raise hands if necessary to let us know that they're available and here. And we ask you to keep your social distancing 6 feet apart. So, having said that, and before more details, it is 4 o'clock on April 21st, 2020 for this meeting. We want to also let you know that if you would like to Zoom to this meeting, that you go to zoom.us / and then you've got this meeting ID, 919-9796-5851. Meeting ID, 919-9796-5851. For those of you who don't have a computer or able to connect in that way, you can do it by dialing up, and the best U.S. number that we have here is 301-715-8592 or 301-715-8592 repeated. Having said that, we hope that you enjoy the meeting as we will, and we'll get started. First, we have via Zoom, I believe, an invocation by Jesse Stocking of Solomon's Porch. Are you there with us, Jesse?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, we're going to bow our heads or follow your instructions, whatever you'd like.
Okay, thank you, Gil. As always, it's a pleasure to serve our community by offering an opening prayer here at the County Commission meeting, and I'm here on behalf of the St. George Interfaith Council and the congregation I'm a part of, Solomon's Porch, Foursquare Fellowship. And so I will begin now. Our loving and gracious Father in heaven, we gather together to give thanks in prayer for the many gifts that you have given us. And although it seems like we are limited in your provisions recently, we truly have been given so much. And I ask that you would provide a mighty guidance and blessing on all of the elected officials, the public servants, and all of the staff of the Washington County administration, the Washington County School District, all of our law enforcement and first responders, last responders, and everybody in between. For some of us, our workload has decreased, but for some of us, our workload has doubled or even tripled, and especially for those who are still working and working to help their kids get through school and learning how to use all the technology. We just ask that you would bless everybody in our area with a help and a guidance to be able to navigate the challenges that are before us. And we're so grateful for all that you do. And I say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
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 Thank you, Jesse.
Yes, thank you,
You're
and best to everyone at Solomon's Porch. We'd now like to
Thank-
have a flag salute or a pledge from Ron Whitehead. Please come forward.
Would those in the audience please stand and repeat the pledge with me? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic that stands, nation, under God, with liberty for all.
I failed to mention, but you can probably see it in the recording that's going on, that Commissioner Cox is here. We appreciate him being here, and mention the rather smooth and, although different, convention that was held on Saturday. I thank him for running a great race and his opponents as well, and just welcome you here, Dean.
Thank you.
It should be noted that these meetings are also rebroadcast daily on TDS cable channels 22 and 108 is our HD channel. At 10 a.m., 2 p.m., and 5:30 p.m. They're available also on demand at youtube.com/community education channel. And we're grateful for their camera person here tonight and recording this. Thank you so much. All right. We begin our consent agenda, which is a means of expediting the consideration of routine matters. If a commissioner requests that items be removed from the consent agenda, those items are placed at the beginning of the regular agenda. And other than request to remove items, a motion to approve the items on the consent agenda is not debatable. Commissioner Cox, do you care to read that in?
Commissioner Almquist, I would make a motion to approve today's consent agenda, consisting of item A, consideration of auditor-approved claims for payment for April 8th, 2020 through April 21, 2020. Item B, consideration of regular commission meeting minutes of April 7th, 2020. Item C, consideration of administrative adjustments on real property. Item D, consideration of administrative adjustments, personal property. Item E, consideration of application for property tax abatement. And finally, item F, consideration of application for settlement or deferral of property taxes.
Mr. Chairman, I'll second that motion.
Thank you, Victor, and Commissioner Iverson, rather. I appreciate that. Anything desired to be removed? Okay, seeing none, all in favor of the consent agenda items as read by Commissioner Cox, say aye.
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 Aye. Thank you. Our regular agenda items for consideration are purchase requests, and I believe that we have Ray Boyer sequestered off in a secret hideout. Are you with us, Ray?
I am here.
All right. We'll turn the time to you.
Okay. I only have a couple this time because we had so many last time. The first one I have is for tourism. This is for the completion of the missing link trail. It fills in that gap that's been needing to be filled in for so many years. and that is for $500,000. The second one I have is for emergency services, and this is for 4 handheld radios for Beaver County, purchased with emergency services grant funds, and 1 mobile radio for Washington County, also purchased with emergency services grant funds. And those are a total of $18,067.40. And unless there's any questions, that's all I have.
Okay,
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we accept the purchase request. And I sure hope nobody loses their radio because those seem kind of pricey.
They are quite pricey, but they're good things.
well, we appreciate the assistance.
And in seconding the motion, I'd like to comment that I have been waiting for a long time for the missing link trail completion. Many of us have had to walk or ride our bikes on Riverside Drive, and it's a bit scary at times. So this is going to give connectivity between St. George and Washington. It's going to be an awesome investment in our area. And with that, I second the motion.
Motion and a second. Any questions on that motion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those purchase requests. All right, we have a emergency services report from our sheriff. Is he there?
Commissioners.
Thank you.
Well, unfortunately, the calls for service with our volunteers has not slowed down. So in the last reporting period from March 17th through April 20th, we've responded to another 11 calls, bringing our total for the year up to 40. Total man hours for this report of donated time is 343. People are getting out and recreating. Just for those that are watching and listening, please use caution. Make sure that you have the appropriate gear and things that you need, and make sure that somebody knows where you're going. We responded to injured hiker in the Church Rocks area on the 17th of March. Lost hiker in the Red Cliffs area on the 17th of March. Injured biker on Bear Claw Poppy Trail, which is just out west of Bloomington. They're off Navajo Drive. Another call out to lost hikers on Red Mountain. A family of 4 that got off the trail couldn't find their way down, and that mountain is very unforgiving if you're not in the right trail head. Hiker with chest pains that was Lee's Pass of Kolob Canyon. That we worked with EMS, Life Flight, National Park Service, and was able to place him in a Stokes basket and wheel them back to the IC, and then was taken by ambulance to DRMC. Lost hikers in the Vortex out by Lower Sand Cove. Had an individual that was hiking across the rocks there in Baker, slipped and fell. They tied a rope to him to keep him from going any further. As we had this search and rescue dispatched to go up there and help. EMS was able to get there before us and found that he was only about 5 feet off the ground. So they were able to help get him down, get him checked out. Search and rescue was canceled. This next one on April 13th was a fallout at Gooseberry Mesa, where an individual that was out there mountain biking, still don't know the exact details, but fell off one of the cliffs and was deceased. Search and rescue had to rappel 140 foot, work with the investigators and deal with the recovery and bring that individual back. We also dealt with a missing person out of the Harrisburg area where search and rescue was called in to assist on another female that had deceased, to retrieve her body and bring it back in. Injured mountain biker on Stookie Springs Trail, and an ATV accident in Tobin Wash. So it has been busy.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Sheriff, I'm reminded of some of the memories that we built together about this time of year. I know that next week they're forecasting temperatures that could approach 90 degrees. And it seems as if every year when that happens, we have people who start off on a warm summer day and may try hiking up Oak Grove over Pine Valley Mountain, or end up someplace at a higher elevation and not able to get back down. Have you got any words of wisdom for them?
There is still a lot of snow up there, and it is going to get bitterly cold still in the evenings. Make sure that you're prepared, that you know where you're going, and that you have the equipment and knowledge to be doing what you're doing.
Thank you. It's very good advice. It's amazing how you can look up at Pine Valley in a week or two and you won't see a stitch of snow, but up on top of that mountain there can be so much that there's not any evidence of a trail at all. And
Well, you'll find the same over in Kolob, as well as the Kolob Fingers. So,
yep.
Well, Sheriff, it was alluded to in the prayer by Jesse Stocking just how many people have doubled and tripled their efforts, and to first responders, to hospitals, to those taking tests for COVID, et cetera, and obviously your group. Please thank them for us and ask them to stay safe themselves.
I will pass the word along, and thank you for your support, Commissioners.
You bet. Thank you, Sheriff.
Thank you, Sheriff. Appreciate you.
All right, well, they're busy. Item 3 then, consideration of ordinance number 2020-1155-0, an ordinance rezoning a certain portion of Washington County located at 1383 West Diamond Valley Drive in Diamond Valley from RE40 residential estate 40 square foot minimum lot size zone to the RE20 residential estate 20,000 square foot minimum lot size zone, hereinafter fully described in this ordinance. Is it, I don't believe it's, is it Scott? Okay,
Scott.
Scott,
Yeah.
you'll be handling this?
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah, so commissioners, located up in Diamond Valley, Corey Morgan owns some property adjacent to the elementary school that's up there. And there is lot 83 of the Diamond Valley Acres subdivision. And he also owned land just south of that was not platted as part of the subdivision. And they are what they came in wanting to do is do a 3-lot subdivision. So it was an amended and extended subdivision. So to extend the Diamond Valley subdivision and to include that parcel down below, which was approximately 12 acres in size. So what they're proposing to do is do flag lots through lot 83, headed south down to the proposed 83A and 83B lots. Our code does allow for 2 lots to be accessed off a flag lots or off a stem. And the zoning of those 2 parcels, they already meet, or those, even with the change in subdividing it, it still meets the requirements of the code that, or of the zone that it's in. But lot 83, with removing the acreage or square footage that the access to the flag lots, you have to, our code says that the access to the flag lots has to be part of the flag lots. So that driveway had to be removed, that area needed to be removed from lot 83, which made it so the lot didn't meet the zoning requirements of the RE40 zone. So they are requesting to rezone to the RE20, which is residential estate 20,000 square foot zone. Planning Commission held a public hearing last week in the Planning Commission meeting, and no one spoke for or against it, and the Planning Commission unanimously recommended approval of the zone change and the subdivision. But right now, what's before the Planning Commission or the County Commission is just the zone change.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you, Scott.
Thank you,
Yep.
Scott.
All right, Ready for motion?
Hearing no comment, I've studied this, and I would make a motion to approve ordinance number 2020-1155-0, an ordinance rezoning a certain portion of Washington County located at 1383 West Diamond Valley Drive in Diamond Valley from RE40 zone to the RE20, 20,000 square foot minimum lot size zone, hereinafter fully described in the ordinance.
I'll
Second.
second that motion, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you,
I'll
Victor.
second that motion.
All right, any questions on the motion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Very good. Item 4, consideration of ordinance number 2020-1156-0, an ordinance approving a road dedication located on the west side of Kolob Reservoir on Kolob, hereinafter fully described in this ordinance. Ron?
The property owners that own around the west side of the lake come in and approach the county about doing a vacation for part of the road that runs right along the shore of the lake down around the south point of their property and connects back into the Water Conservancy District. So they created another road that cuts over the hill. It's a shorter access going to the other side, and it releases that road down along the edge of the lake. So we have the road dedication plat for the new road, which is built and in place and being used, and be back shortly with a vacation plat asking you to vacate that portion that is not being used anymore, vacate the public use on that.
Everyone who's listening or views this later, when Ron came up and said that a family came in and asked for a vacation, we don't approve those. We don't care where they go, really, as long as they're safe. No, obviously, this is essential so that there aren't two parcels that have a road on them, and that it's important that, you know, that the new recorded plat shows that this one has been abandoned or, as you said, vacated.
We'll allow them to move a road on their property that's a public use right-of-way if they give us another right-of-way similar
Exactly.
to what we have. So they've made that concession. They built the road. It's in place. This is the dedication plat for that new road.
Great.
Once it's in place, we'll bring back the vacation plat for the old piece.
Thank you.
All right.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion that we adopt ordinance 2020-1156-0, an ordinance approving a road dedication located on the west side of Kolob Reservoir on Kolob, hereafter fully described in this ordinance.
I'll second that motion.
Motion by Commissioner Iverson and second by Commissioner Cox. All in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous. Thank you. Item 5, consideration of resolution number R 2020-2592, a resolution approving the execution of an agreement between Washington County and the City of Washington regarding transferring ownership of a parcel of real property and approving the execution of a quit claim deed transferring ownership of the parcel. Kim, Clerk Auditor.
Commissioners, this is a piece of property that the county acquired in a tax sale. I'm not sure the street names. It's in Indian Oak subdivision in Washington. The roads come to like a T-bone, and a few years ago we gave the parcel on the north side of that road. It's the kind of the curve where it meets the
Yeah, I know
T.
right where you're talking about.
And we've given that parcel to the City of Washington. Then we now have acquired the south curve as it reaches that intersection, and that I've contacted the City of Washington, and they were anxious that they would receive that, and so we've got the deed ready to deed that to them.
I'll bet you got top dollar for it too.
Yeah, we're pretty generous when we have a piece of property that's not worth too much.
Well,
Thank you, Kim. Kim actually is very, very good at finding these pieces of road and things that are in some of our other communities and getting title transferred where it belongs. So I would make a motion in support of resolution R 2020-2592, a resolution approving the execution of an agreement between Washington County and the City of Washington regarding transferring ownership of a parcel of real property and approving the execution of quitclaim deeds transferring ownership of the parcels.
Mr. Chairman, I'll second that motion.
Thank you. Motion by Commissioner Cox, second by Commissioner Iverson. No questions on that from me, so all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. You know, that has always been a difficult and dangerous place because when they first developed Indian Oaks, their access was limited by these couple of parcels onto the highway. So I'm glad that this is going to help resolve that. All right, item number 6, a resolution R 2020-2593 approving Tourism Advisory Board recommendations.
I believe Brittany is online for that.
Hello, Commissioners. How are you today?
Excellent.
Thank you.
Excellent.
Good. So these requests came through in our February cycle of funding for nonprofit events. The Tourism Advisory Board reviewed the recommendations in our March meeting and passed along the following recommendations for Kayenta Arts Foundation for their celebration of Festivals of the Americas, which actually was scheduled for this year. They postponed it until 2021 in May. The recommendation for funding was $11,000. The Utah Museums Association applied for funding for their conference, which they are still planning to hold as of now in St. George at the Dixie Center. And they applied, and the recommendation was $4,000. And Tuacahn Amphitheater applied for marketing sponsorship in the amount of $50,000. And the board recommended funding of $50,000 for marketing their 2020 season.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I attended this board meeting, and of course, since February, a lot of things have happened. But one of the prevailing themes of that meeting is as we're able to come out of this COVID-19 pandemic that we're enduring, and it's having a huge impact not only on Washington County but all over the United States, that we need to position ourselves, according to the board, so that we can respond quickly and effectively with our marketing, because it's going to be a very competitive environment for tourists. And so I think this is a good proposal to go ahead and approve, and these funds will be used when it's germane for them to be used, when we're able to have these events. And so I would make a motion in support of Resolution R 2020-2593, approving the Tourism Advisory Board recommendations.
I will second that motion, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. A motion and second. Any discussion on the items in the motion? All right. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous. Item number 7, consideration of resolution number R 2020-2594, a resolution approving Tourism Advisory Board recommendation to approve an agreement with Washington City. Brittany.
Yes, so this is a proposal that was brought to us. It will be a matching funds with Washington City. They're going to apply for a grant through Utah Outdoor Recreation to make significant improvements to the Mill Creek Trailhead, including a trail kiosk, parking, and restrooms. So this would indeed be $50,000 to match funds with Washington City to go forward with that grant request.
Okay, thank you.
And Mr. Almquist, this is again a super proposal, because half of this, $100,000, is going to be coming from the state of Utah, that outdoor recreation grant, equal match from Washington City. And so with the match from us, we're leveraging this 4 times, basically.
Right.
Which is going to be an outstanding investment, not only for our area residents, but people who come and visit and enjoy becoming targets for the sheriff's search and rescue team. Hopefully they won't do that.
Is that a motion?
I would so move to approve Resolution R 2020-2594. A resolution.
And I'm glad to second that motion, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, got a motion and a second.
Yes, perfect. And I can say that with all of the effort being made by all of the communities here to keep their trails open at least, this is an additional source of an access to a trailhead. So all those in favor of item number 7 as read, please say aye.
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 Aye. Thank you. Item 8, consideration of resolution R 2020-2595, a resolution approving advisory board recommendations to approve a marketing opportunity with Fazari. Brittany.
So Fazari is a Utah-based mountain bike manufacturer, and we are working with them. They've come to us. They want to do a destination ride in Washington County for all of their ambassadors who are also influencers. So they will come into the county and ride our trails and talk about our trails on all of their social platforms. And as part of their ambassadorship, they will also do some trail maintenance. They've got a trail selected that they will come in and actually help build out. So it's actually a really good, it's a win-win situation for us. And we will, as part of the agreement, be paying for offsetting some of their costs via lodging for them while they're in the county.
Well, thank you. You know, one thing is Dean has referred to, Commissioner Cox has said, you know, there's going to be some competition for people coming here. As far as our outdoors go, there is no competition. And so with this group coming, that will help us heal.
Absolutely.
It would. I remember the Nick Glidden, our forest ranger for the Dixie Forest, came and that's the first place I heard about this proposal. And he was so excited about it that he just thought this was a grand thing. And so when we see our federal partners willingly helping and trying to develop areas that we can recreate, this is going to be a mountain bike venue like no other. I'm told that the scenes, by the way, this up Cottonwood Road at the base of Pine Valley Mountain. It's going to be an awesome partnership with Fazari, and so I would move again to approve resolution R 2020-2595, a resolution approving Tourism Advisory Board recommendations to approve a marketing opportunity with Fazari.
I'll second that motion, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you both. Motion and a second for approval of that item. All in favor, say aye.
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 Wonderful. Thank you. Victor, is it cloudy and rainy up there, or is it nice?
It's actually, it's sunny. It's sunny up here. I hit water on the way up here, but that must have been the storm moving south. So.
Well, we had our rain this morning, and it's beautiful out there now. Commissioner Cox told Commissioner Renstrom, ex-Commissioner Renstrom, now the head of the Water District, that we were going to send him a bill for the water we gave him.
Yeah.
I think we should.
No doubt. Wonderful. Okay, item 9, consideration of resolution number R 2020-2596, appointing members to the Dameron Valley Special Service District Administrative Control Board. This is in Commissioner Cox's realm, and I'll let him read those names and their term of office.
Thank you, Commissioner Almquist. Just to refresh the group, in March, there had been a lot of upheaval in the Dameron Valley Special Service District Administrative Control Board, and in visiting with the chair of the board and members of the community, the commission decided it was in its best interest of the valley to convert that from an elected board to an appointed board. And we explained that this would be a transitional thing, that the commission would do this as quickly as possible. And so we advertised. We had some excellent applicants. We interviewed and selected the best. I felt that we're at that time and place, the right people to put on that board. And so I would propose that we install Brant Smith with a term ending December 31st, 1921. We're staggering these terms so the whole board won't expire at once. Ryan Anderson with an appointment expiring on 12/31 of 21. Max Sorensen, appoint him to the board with a term ending 12/31 of 2023. Rick Johnson and Barbara Yelly, also with terms ending 12/31 of 2023. And that would be my motion.
And Mr. Chairman, I'd like to second that motion and just express my appreciation to these 5 individuals for being willing to step up. We have such great people in this county that are so willing to serve on these boards, and this might be the only thanks they get, because we kid around that these are thankless jobs, but they do a great service for their community and neighborhood.
Absolutely. Well, and it spreads the ability to cover these more remote areas with quality people. So having said that, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor of those appointments as read in, say aye.
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 Thank you. Item number 10 is a resolution 2020-2597 adopting the Washington County Amended Resource Management Plan. It's taken a while, and I've been involved in this. It has to go through several hoops, but basically what it does is it says who we are, what our goals are, talks about history, and of course the various resources that we have here, both natural, and then it alludes to the fact that we have human resources as well. And it's quite extensive. I believe it was our county administrator, Nicole, who was explaining to me just how many people are involved in coming up with it. And it's no small effort. I equate it to somebody writing a master's thesis on Washington County. And it's well put together. It is in the form of a resolution, and it has a few whereases and then a couple of therefores. Commissioner Cox, do you mind reading those in?
I would be happy to. This is a resolution adopting the Washington County Amended Resource Management Plan. Whereas Washington County adopted its current resource management plan on July 18th, 2017. Whereas Washington County has continued to revise and update the RMP to ensure it has up-to-date information. Whereas pursuant to Utah Code Section 1727A-401, the RMP is part of the county's general plan. And whereas pursuant to Utah Code 17-27A-404, amendments to the county general plan must have a public hearing at the Planning Commission. Whereas on March 10th, 2020, the Washington County Planning Commission held a public hearing on the amended resource management plan. Whereas on April 14th, the Washington County Planning Commission approved the amended resource management plan. Whereas it is in the best interest of the residents of Washington County to adopt the amended resource management plan. Now therefore be it resolved by the County Commission of Washington County, Utah, that Washington County adopts the amended resource management plan as it is currently written. Now therefore be it further resolved by the County Commission of Washington County, Utah, that Washington County will continue to amend and improve the county resource management plan.
Thank you,
Mr.
Commissioner
Chairman, I'd
Cox.
like to second that motion, and with that, just make a little comment about our natural resource plan. The state of Utah, about 3 years ago, asked all of the counties to put together these plans, and the reason why is so that it could go into a statewide plan, because our federal partners, whether it's under FLPMA, the Federal Land Management Policy Act, or there's also a part of the Forest Service that encourages federal agencies to, when they're doing planning, to include local planning as much as possible. And it's really hard to include local planning if you don't have a local plan. And so this plan does represent our local plan. It represents our view on things like grazing, watershed, access to public lands, historical type of uses. And what I really appreciate that we've done and been able to do with this plan is after we put all that effort, in fact, it was Nicole, or not Nicole, it was Celeste Malloy who really helped us put this plan together, is we decided that we didn't want this to just be a plan that gathered dust on the shelf. And so we have, on a quarterly basis, gone into the effort of reviewing it. And so anyway, I appreciate the effort of staff and to help us keep this plan up to date. So.
You know, and wouldn't you agree, Commissioner Iverson, that while we have such a beautiful part of Utah, that it attracts those who don't want any more people coming here. But at the same time, there are people that live here and they want their children to live here, and they've been involved for well over 100 years in certain activities that they consider resources. You mentioned grazing and other things like that. But with this plan, if we happen to go sideways with any of these groups and they sue us, it appears to a judge that we know what we have, that we have a plan of how we're going to work with it, preserve it to the best ability that we can, while also being able to use it. And this goes a long way in any sort of legal action that we might face.
Balancing act, and I think we've struck a really good balance.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate that. I know we have a motion, and I believe, Commissioner Iverson, you seconded?
Yes, I did second it. Yes.
Thank you. With that in mind, I would accept a vote on this resolution for the Washington County Amended Resource Management Plan. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Item number 11, consideration of resolution number R 2020-2598, a resolution ratifying the approval of a public relations agreement with the DCO Group. Commissioner Iverson.
Yes. You know, as we, the whole time I've been commissioner and as we think about government, one of the most important parts that government has is to be able to communicate back to our citizens and have that transparency. And sometimes we get so busy and so many different things that we're doing. And it's not just us commissioners, it's also whether it's the assessor's office, the clerk auditor's office, a lot of other departments inside the county are they both have statutorial communications that they have to get out to the public service, public safety, and just making the public aware of what the county's involved in. And so we've had this discussion ongoing for quite a while. And with this, we finally decided to vet this group that specializes in helping local and county governments communicate. This agreement is not just about public relations and communications, but it's also to help facilitate in our grant writing and with our economic development. And so it's an annual contract that's month to month. And I think it's going to help us to be able to communicate with our citizens and help them communicate back with us in a way that we can really get the business of the county done more efficiently. So, and we've especially noticed the need of communication in this last month with COVID-19. And so anyway, that's what we have before us is that agreement. And that would be my motion to accept it.
And I would second Commissioner Iverson's motion.
All right. Well, all in favor of that motion and second, say aye.
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 Aye. There's a commissioner's report next, and Commissioner Cox, you want to say anything, or Commissioner Iverson? Things you've been working on?
Well, I will say that a lot of people in Utah, a lot of people in Washington County and in the nation are anxious to get back to work, and we're visiting with the governor this afternoon, trying to learn more about his phased approach, about how we can do that. But I think it's really important that as we're able to safely do that, we do reengage. I saw someone carrying a sign that says every job is essential, and that resonated with me. So I want to be safe, but I really want to get our economy started up in a phased way that will allow us to do that safely.
I'd really just echo what Commissioner Cox just said. We live in very unprecedented times. There's a tremendous amount of fear and anxiety in our public. And, I looked at that item, Commissioner's report, and we've had a lot going on. And our public has had a lot going on, our citizens in our county. And I'm looking forward to getting back to some sort of normal. And I know our citizens are too.
Thank you, Commissioner Iverson, Commissioner Cox. Back maybe 3 weeks ago when I witnessed one store closing after another, and then others, especially food establishments, adjusting, trying to figure out how they're going to still get food out the door. And many have adjusted so well, but I have this sort of thing going through my mind that meant, that said to me, be vocal, buy local. And I know that rhyme may be corny to some, but I want to say that we may fundamentally be looking at a change in the buying habits of people because of this. And I don't like it. What I mean by that is saying, are we setting up for our basic brick and mortar stores to be obsolete? Because nearly everything we buy, we are now conditioned in 1 month to not figure out who might have it or who might be open, but rather just go to the computer. And I have never seen so many FedEx and UPS trucks delivering things all over the place. And although that I recognize that there are things you cannot buy here, very specialty items or things that you've always been able to get through, so to speak, the old Sears catalog. I mean, this isn't new. People used to buy things that they couldn't get through Sears, right? But I worry that we'll continue to do that even when our stores are open. And I'm hoping we don't go there. So by me saying, if you really want to be vocal and not be hypocritical about participating in how we're going to come back out of this, then we have to buy locally. And we cannot go to our computer the first thing. We're guilty in our household of buying things off the computer. I needed a very specialized part to get my pool going. And I called around here everywhere I could possibly call, and nobody had it. Well, we found it online. It was like $3. But my point being is, everything else, though, that we can get here, try to get it here first. And if somebody says, well, yeah, but I can get it for $10 less online, that's impacting our community, especially since a lot of those purchases are not taxed, and it's not quite a level playing field. And finally, I also want to give a shout out to Dr. Blodgett, who's been giving us daily reports of cases. And we can't say too much of the details we know here because of HIPAA laws, but I can say that he's been up to date with giving us information. And though no names or details of cases, we recently did have the number of 4 pop up. And that seems to some to get them all like, oh boy, here we're going again, In reality, that was all from one family, and they were all mild cases. But they had to report them because they did test positive. Now today, there's some in here who may know, there's only a few of us here, but I think today you reported 0 new cases. So applaud those who are getting tested, and if you feel like you're, have any symptoms, go get tested. If you feel definitely sick, stay home, contact your health advisor, provider, doctor, or otherwise, and let us heal from this.
Yes, thank you. And I am one, as you can see, I'm wearing a mask. I take this very, very seriously because I am immunocompromised. I'm also 65 years old, which puts me in a special risk category that
Sure.
I have to deal with. But I hope that we can be thoughtful and do this so that we can remain safe. And I'd like to remind everyone that that extra $10 stays invested in our community if that ever happens, and it blesses the people
Yeah.
who seek employment here and have to provide for families. So it cycles and circulates.
And
That'd be all I've got.
you know, Commissioner Cox, you're right on. About 20 years ago, I read an article about really what makes a community strong economically, and it all boiled down to one thing: how many times that $1 turns over within the community. And I don't think people realize when they buy things outside of our community, and that could be online, it could be traveling somewhere, they take money out of our community, and it's that dollar is lost. The only way we get dollars coming back into our community to circulate is through, one, our own industry, and obviously banking and building and those things, but also people visiting here. And that's going to be hard on our budgets when we look at the fact that very few people are visiting here, because that's where we get our new, fresh dollars to circulate from, as well as, of course, the ones that we have here locally. So a great shout out to county employees that have been faithful in keeping our doors as open as possible, even if that is through technology, and letting our departments and our offices function for the betterment of the citizens, and especially all those in the admin in this building. Special thanks.
Okay.
With that, our meeting is over and adjourned, and this is required. Hit the gavel.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.